Hey folks, Species 7 here. How's everybody doing today? So, here we are on Farming Simulator 2011 and what I've been calling my Pro Farm series, but of course it's not. And that brings me to a PM that I received today. Now, having one of the least watched channels on the internet, I'm sure, receiving a PM is kind of a rare thing for me. And basically the gist of it was someone who had watched, was not only watching my 2013 series, but also my Demo Company Gold series, Ski Region, and this one. So, damn, I think the person must be my most dedicated follower. Commented that, I got through 2013 fairly well, made a lot of money, got all the machinery we needed. It didn't seem to be a big hitch. I played 2011 through. So why exactly would I back down from the real Pro Farm, the Riverside map and everything that entails? And they kind of have a good point, because I played this game enough to realize that even if it's not the easy way to do things, you can pretty much set up any kind of fields you want with what's already in the game. If you don't like the shape of a field, well, you can change it. That's what plows are for. And as for the bridge and what it entails, and you end up having to reset all your vehicles if something screws up on that long journey, etc. There's a lot of fields on this side of the map that aren't across the bridge, and I think concentrating on those to start with will probably get us by. We might lose some crops on the other side of the bridge, but hopefully by the time we have to cross that bridge, we'll be able to afford to. So, what exactly does that mean in the end of things? Well, what it means is I'm going to do Pro Farm, but I'm going to do it right. We are going to use the Pro Farm map. We are going to do a full walkthrough from beginning to end. So, without further ado, folks, I welcome you to Riverside Farm and Pro Farm, the add-on for Farming Simulator 2011. Here we are. Ta-da! And we're getting a horrible frame rate, and it's also almost dark. But that's okay, because I don't really have the intention of doing a terribly long episode. So what I did here was picked a little field. Now this is in relation to where we are here. Let you all know where I am. Okay, just below my marker on the map is the cow farm, and just below that is our farm. So these fields are just right up behind the cow farm. And what I decided to do was I had my harvester come up here, and he started on this canola crop. So there you go. And using the driver, the hireable driver, he managed to get most of the field done in reasonable shape. So, of course, we have to keep in mind that you do always need to reattach gear. So there we go. And jump in here, pull him. Oh, no, we won't pull him forward. We'll connect the trailer first. And we'll connect the front weight. Oh, it gets me. I almost drove over my front weight again. There we go. And we'll empty this out. So I think I'm probably going to have to do most of the rest of this field by myself. But as you can see, I mean, the hired worker did 80% of it, 90% of it at least. So a little tiny bit in the corner there because he wouldn't follow that particular angle, but that's fine. So, oh, there we go. And he's done. And I think if we, with careful management and a little bit of foresight, I don't think this is going to be quite the hassle I might have thought. I'll admit, this map doesn't run as smoothly as some, but it isn't too bad. You know, I've certainly had worse maps on 2013. I mean, they were so slow you could barely turn around, and that was without running fraps. This one with fraps on is even doing better than that, So yeah, I think I'm just going to run this down. I might just, actually... I think if we go line across the back here, we might be able to make it so he can actually do this on his own. Although there's not much of it left. But yeah, probably running a line on each side of these fields would have been enough to do that particular little exercise. So, but there's not a lot left. As I say, I think I'll just finish this off by hand. Didn't get a lot of yield out of this field. It only filled this guy up once, so that's okay. It's not a lot of field. Which was my biggest beef in the original playthrough, was the fields were so big that literally I was spending 2 or 3 or 4 hours off screen trying to finish these fields. And I had some really bad frame rates here. I don't know why, but that's okay. We'll get past this. It's kind of been like that all morning, so I wonder if maybe my computer's not doing something incredible in the background. You know, it's really funny. I mean, as I mentioned in other playthroughs, I'm running 16 gigs of RAM. I've got a 640 GTX video card, and this thing runs like, you know, Farming Simulator is just... I don't know if they've just not optimized it very well, or if this whole thing stems down to what a lot of my issues do. And that's the fact that I'm dumb enough to use an even-numbered operating system. And someone, I mean, especially me, haven't been around computers and the technical end of it for a long time. I should know better, because as weird as it seems, we really only get a good operating system on the odd numbers, if you think about it. The only one that might be considered an exception would be 2000, Windows 2000. And I think it got away with being the exception because of the release of Millennium. You know, Windows 2000 was actually a very stable operating system. Not bad at all. And that's why a lot of offices and businesses didn't switch out from it for, 10 years after it was released. Just for that reason. If you wanted to run offices or businesses, Windows 2000 was the most stable thing that had hit the market yet. So, but beyond that, yeah, you can pretty much count that if you want a good operating system, avoid the even-numbered ones. So, and Windows 8, yeah, no exception. So, but we will give it time. I'm sure by this time next year it will be adopted a little further, a little wider. I'm hoping that they don't get too carried away with this whole thing of making sure that, you know, everything they want to work on in the operating system is to improve touch functionality and stuff like that, because, yeah, that's certainly not my big concern. As I'm sure it's not with pretty much any gamer. Well, if your favorite game is Farmville, then maybe you care. If it's not, yeah, probably not. So, but yeah, we're going to finish this little field off. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to basically try and stay close to the farm until we have enough money that we can do it the sensible way, which I think will be to basically have a setup on both sides of the river so that we can avoid having to go back and forth continuously. So, yeah. And I think that'll be more than feasible. And I think as a playthrough of Pro Farm, it's going to be an actual playthrough of Pro Farm. So, we got one more row here, and I think we're done this field. Didn't net us a lot, as I said. We've only got about 1.5 harvesters full. But then if you look at the size of this field compared to everything around it, you can see that, okay, I can see how you only got that much. This is probably one of the smallest fields in the area. So, but it's also probably where we needed to start, you know. Am I going to get it all? Not quite, eh? It's okay. That little tuft and the one at the other end of the field will take nothing to deal with. So, nothing at all. So, put another episode of Ski Region Simulator up this morning. Did a couple of missions on that one. The one thing with that game is it's kind of grindy. It really is. Not to say that this isn't grindy. I mean, I guess you could consider that what I'm doing right now is grinding. But, yeah, Ski Region Simulator, it's grindy in a noticeable way, because you end up having to spend a large portion of your time doing missions to grind out money, right? So, yeah, it's noticeably grindy compared to most simulators. I'm also sort of just in a test phase, because I am playing another simulator, in fact 2 others, but they're not put out by Giants. One is a company I'm not really all that sure on. I haven't done any of their stuff. The other one is fairly well known. But one of the ones I'm doing is called Construction Simulator 2012. And I was kind of expecting, once, you know, I got it, that we were going to run into the same sort of thing we did with Mining and Tunneling Simulator and blah blah blah. But it's not a UIG game. It's not published by Actologic, and it works. Yeah. And the funny thing is the whole reason I decided to pick it up, and in fact paid full price of $20 for, which is even rare, because usually with simulators, oh, I thought I turned that off. There we go. Usually with simulators, I'll wait till they go on sale, unless I know, like something like Farming Simulator, you know, or another Giants game, that I know are going to be stable, and if they're not, they actually will get patched. With games like that, yeah, I will pay full price just to get the game. Usually with other ones, I'll wait till there's a sale. My Gamersgate account, I think my waiting list of price drops is probably as big as my list of actual games. So, but yeah. But I picked it up, and I paid that price for it, mainly because I watched YouTube videos on it, as I am wont to do before I'll shell out money for something. And I noticed that pretty much everybody that played it was having issues. But they weren't having issues with it not being stable, and they weren't having issues with it not running right. They were having issues with the fact that some of the things they asked you to do weren't all that easy. So that's a little different, you know? It's really a little different. So here's our other farm. I guess this is the cow farm end of it. So yeah, I've been playing this construction simulator, and if you take your time and actually treat it like a simulator, it's quite an interesting thing to do. It has a degree of difficulty. So pretty cool. I will eventually do a series on that. The other one I'm doing is called Ship Simulator Extreme. And I don't know whether I'm going to do a YouTube on it or not. I've watched YouTube plays on it, and They again were probably the main reason I downloaded it. Now I did get it at a bargain. In fact, I got it at a hell of a bargain. I got it with all of the download for considerably less than you would generally get the game for. So I was pretty happy with that. In fact, for about half what the game itself is worth, they get the game and all of the downloads. But it's kind of funny because I'm looking, people are trying it, and of course they want to load the biggest ship they can find and drive that. And then they climb in and they slam all the throttles forward and they go, well, why the heck isn't it going anyway? I'm going to hit this, I got to turn, it's not turning. Dude, the thing has a displacement of 100,000 tons. It probably is going to take 5 minutes before you notice it starting to move forward. And if you're turning when you can see something, it's probably almost too late already. But it's kind of interesting. You definitely need a higher end machine to be running that, because just the simulation of the water effects and such are just mind numbing. But there we are. We've had our first harvest at Pro Farm, and I promise, keep this one going. Thank you to the PM sender who actually asked to not have their name mentioned, so I will not. Thank you very much for sending that in. And here you go, as requested. This is Riverside. This is the true Pro Farm map and a true Pro Farm playthrough. So, until our next episode, this has been Species 7. Take care of each other, and ciao for now.